Hi guys, welcome to another tutorial of database administration. Today, uh, today's tutorial is about logs in MySQL, and we will be looking into like what is log, internal locking methods, that is table level locking, row level locking, and then we have external locking and InnoDB locking. Today we will be studying till external locking, and I will have a separate session on InnoDB locking. They still have some information related to InnoDB locking because this locking mechanism has been changed so much till the release of MySQL 8. So we will be discussing about those, like how this locking mechanism works. So first of all, what is log? So the log word is this is like different meaning in the database than in programming. So like if you have any idea about programming, so like what happened in programming, that if you have a log, then it is a single object in a memory stored under some address, and there are multiple threads which try to lock it, and either get succeeded or wait till they get succeeded. I mean, so the first thread release the lock, then the second can get succeeded and get its own lock. So that means that there is one lock per resource. But in InnoDB, this concept is called latch. This single resource locking is called latch, and to compensate or to make a better definition out of this log word, it's been used entirely for some different purpose. And so how does the InnoDB lock system works? So a lock is really more like a request for a specific kind of access right to the specific resource by a specific transaction. So for particular resource, there might exist like 100 of logs. So if there are many transactions which request to access to any table or row, and there can even be more than one of a single transaction if it's need to access it using different log modes. So a log can be waiting or granted and documents an access right for a given transaction to a given resource. So in InnoDB, so then it's called log. So that's what I wanted to mention about the log. And what's next is we have internal locking, and there are what is internal locking? So it's the locking method performed within MySQL server. Okay, remember, perform within MySQL server and not at the InnoDB level, because the MySQL server and the InnoDB locking mechanism or InnoDB engine, they were kind of separately in terms of locking. So locking performed within the MySQL server itself to manage contention for table content by multiple sessions. So this type of locking is internal because it is performed entirely by the server. I repeat again, it is entirely performed by the server and involves no other program. Okay, so then we have table level locking. And then what is table level locking? MySQL uses table level locking for MySM, memory, and merge table, and you can also do this for, you can also lock up InnoDB table as well. I will do that in examples, and I will tell you that what's happening. So what happens when you lock a table? It permits only one session to update those tables at a time, and this locking level makes these storage engines more suitable for read-only and read mostly or a single user application. And next we have is row level locks. These locks is granular to the level of rows, so only the rows that are accessed are locked. Okay, so this allows simultaneous write access by multiple sessions, making them suitable for multiple users, and highly concurrent and OLTP application can use this feature. Only InnoDB supports row level lockings. Okay, so this row level locking is at InnoDB engine level. Okay, so we will discuss this row level locking in the InnoDB, but still this have some part in this session as well. Okay, so then next we have external locking. External locking is the use for the file system locking to manage contention for MySQL database table by multiple processes. External locking is used in a situation where a single process such as MySQL server cannot be assumed to be the only process that requires access to tables. So if you run multiple advantages for this is that if you run multiple servers that use the same database directory, which is totally not recommended, each server must have external locking enabled. So actually this is used for MySQL, but we can also do this in InnoDB as well. Okay, so the main things how you do the external locking. What you do is you lock the table with the read lock or the write lock. So what are read lock? When a table is locked for read, multiple session can read data from table without acquiring a lock. Okay, so also multiple session can acquire a lock on the same table. That is why read lock is called shared lock. I will discuss this shared lock. There is some sort of what do you say like trick here, but this let me clear it here as well. Shared lock is what do you say when it's a table level, it's called it can be a shared lock, but it can be we can have a shared write lock as well. Okay, but that is on the row level. So that is in InnoDB. Okay, for MySQL server level we have shared lock only for read, but we can also have shared lock for write, but that is on InnoDB level. So when read lock is held, no session can write data into the table, okay, including the session that held the lock. Okay, so if any write attempt is made, it will be waiting in waiting state until the read lock is released. Then we have write. When a table is locked for write, no other session can read and write the data from the table except the session that held the lock. Got it? I repeat again, no other session can read and write the data from the table except the session that held the lock. So no other session can even acquire any lock until existing lock is released. So releasing mean either you commit or you exit the session. So that is why this is called exclusive lock. Okay, and if you and the read lock is called implicit lock. So if any read write attempt is made, it will be waiting until the other write lock is released. I hope so you guys have like got any idea about the read and the write. So what happened is in InnoDB most of the locking happens at the I already told you that it's happened is granularity level of the row. So this increases the opportunities for parallelism. There are also table level locks as I described already. This thing I have, so which let you lock the entire table. So there are rather so these are rather rare side, because the way InnoDB is integrated with the MySQL server, InnoDB sits below the server, so which also has its own locking mechanism, and so most of the time InnoDB doesn't even know that the transaction has locked at a table and it happens above its head. So I will show you that how you lock the table above the head of InnoDB engine, and the InnoDB even doesn't know that the table has been locked. So for that we have in a table in performance schema.data logs. In performance schema we have a table, it's called data logs. There we can check that the table has been locked by at the table level. So if it's locked, it has been locked at the row level, then it can be found in we can find that from InnoDB level as well. So let's do some example here. I hope so this theory has not making I hope so this makes some sense for you, but if not making sense then don't worry, I will show you that how you can do this. So let's take this down and this one as well. Sorry, let me show you how we can do that. So system clear. So we have this session 1 and session 2, and I have another session here from this guy, and this I will use this as a session 3, so you guys can have idea like what's happening. Okay, let's do this here. Okay, so let me start a session. Let me give you all the idea like the session IDs of my table, my current. So this is this session ID is 21, and this one is 64, and this one is, this is going to be a long, might be a long one, a long tutorial, so please stay here and watch. This is 61, 64, and the other was 21 or something like that. Yes, 21. Okay, so let's begin. Let me start the transaction and you guys will know that what's happening here. Okay, so let me begin the transaction. Okay, and let me do some insert here. Okay, I'm doing the insert at this session. Okay, sorry, I already have this key is already here. Let me edit this one and sorry, because I have been doing this practice. So okay, so one row has been affected and we have this. Let me do this just for the read lock, because there are a lot of things we will be doing. And so now you guys might be wondering that we can because this is, I have started here a transaction, you see it begin, but you guys might be wondering that this is a transaction, so it should be available at InnoDB level. And but if I show you this you can check this from data logs, and you won't see it here because this is all the meta logs, and these meta logs these are available inside this meta logs table. You see it's empty, and if you check that I have any wondering that you might have this you can see the transaction like so it's still empty. But so this is because the default server and InnoDB are configured in a way that the server and so like if you see here so sorry, this is because by default the server and InnoDB are configured in such way that the server will commit the current transaction. If you do log tables, indeed, even though we have not issued a commit and like instruction ourselves, okay, and any other client any can already see the row will be inserted, so which means that a transaction is considered already committed. So that's why you cannot see the transaction is locked or a transaction is waiting for some other resource. So that's why it's not, you are not able to see in data logs and InnoDB transaction tables. Okay, so if I check here if I want to see let's say okay, so what was this, if you see here I will be able to see this record. You see here this record is already here, this record I did, okay, like Abdul Salam, and you see here 1986 0626, and this ID here, employee number, and this is the same employee number, it's already here. The reason because we have is I haven't committed yet, but this record is already there. That is because InnoDB is having auto commit enabled by default. And so you guys might be wondering is that it's what is my isolation level. So it's repeatable read. So in repeatable read our phenomena is, that is dirty read and repeatable read and phantom read is already covered. So it's not a dirty read, it's a commit, because the InnoDB explicitly commit auto commit. So that's why the transaction you cannot see and the record is already there. So where can I find this if that's now where can I find them? So we have a table that is called performance schema. We have a meta logs table. So there, from there you can verify that it's what's happening. So let me show you. I have a query which can tell you that. Okay, so let's say I hope so there is no error inside the query. So if you see here we have a shared log. Okay, we have shared read-only log, and this is the owner thread ID. Okay, So this is thread ID and the connection ID is different. So these can also be matched inside the thread. We have a thread table. From there you can check. But what I want to show you, that you can see that shared read only granted and has been granted to this lock status is called granted. So shared read only type lock has been granted to this. So from here you can check that what sort of lock has been granted. So it's a shared read only because we have a read lock. So that's why you are seeing only this read lock. So now if you want to see here, like if I go and let's say I want to update another session. Okay, let's say okay, just a minute, I want to open another session, same, okay, here, and let's say MySQL, which this one I want to use this is at my third session. Okay, and I want to update a table. Okay, so you see it's waiting, and it's waiting. Let me take it here, and if I do the same query, run the same query again, you will see another lock which has been waiting for. If you see, now this is a shared write. You see here, this is a shared write lock. So that's why I have been telling you that MySQL level, server level, and the InnoDB level are working separately. So what I am doing here is I'm updating a row in this session. This one here, I'm updating a row, and so this is a row level lock now. That's why it's a shared write, because I'm updating. So that's why I have been telling you that this is quite complicated for you to understand, but I hope so this is making now. So that sound like why is happening. So let me explain that again. So the lock type required for the insert statement is shared write, which might sound confusing as up till now, but I have to tell you that. So what happened here is usually we usually educate shared with reading and exclusive with the write. Okay, so the correct interpretation here is that there might be more than one transaction editing rows and the same table, so they can share access to the table with each other. So even though each of them wants to write, so as long as they will write into listing rows, so there it's shared at a table level and write at the row level at the same time. So now if I come here and I say like begin, so if you will see here, this one which was waiting, the third session we had, this has been committed, because what begin does, that it's explicitly execute the commit. So that's why, so this transaction has been committed now, and we have our query has been executed. Okay, so now if you see here, we hope we will not have any locks. So the set has been set, so the locks, all of locks has been released now. So that's how that's what I was wanted to tell you about how this what happens when you do the write log. Okay, the read log, sorry. So let's say if I want to hit a read log, the table let's say I want to do here, let me show just a minute. Okay, let's say select static, from employees, limit, so now you see here I'm able to do this, I'm able to select from this one. Okay, and let's say I want to lock it with write. Okay, and we have checked, we have read here. So when a lock is table for write, no other session can read and write the data from the table except the session that locked. Okay, so now what we have done is that we lock the table for write. So now if you see here, I do here again, I can select. Okay, so now let's see if the second session I can select or not. You see here it's waiting. The second session cannot select from the employees table because we have lock the table here. Okay, so now if I hit begin again here, or I do commit, or even I like exit from my session like this, you see here this session has been updated and the select story has been executed. So that's what the right means. So when you lock the table with the right option, it's lock it for every other session except this one. So this session was able to select. Even this session can update and insert as well, but this session, other session which haven't held the right lock on the employees table, cannot select, right, and anything can do. So this was about locking at the MySQL level, and some touching with this InnoDB locking method. I hope so you guys have understand how this locking is happening. So I will come with a more session about the locking, and I will tell you how you can identify locking with other views and some other ways of finding the locks. So that's it for today, guys. Please like and share the video with others so they can get the knowledge which I am sharing, and we can grow the MySQL community, because I have seen that there are not many tutorials available online which are covering this MySQL database tutorial series. So I'm trying to create a MySQL database tutorial series so guys can learn and come into this open source databases. Thank you so much, guys. Like, share, subscribe. God bless you.